Good day, YouTube. It's the 7th of September, 2020. And you've probably seen this car off in the corner of the barn here for, since I've been doing videos. This is it is titled as a 1958, but the VIN suggests it's a 1957 Nash Metropolitan. And essentially what they did is they didn't sell them all in 57, so they just retitled them as 58s. And there were no difference between the 57s and 58s anyway. This car has a 51,000 original miles on it. It hasn't left this building in 6 or 7 years. I think I've started it once, but I can't remember how long ago that was. I know at the time I completely filled the tank with non-ethanol premium fuel. However, it's been a long time. But I'm suggesting the fuel's probably still okay. Probably not great, but it's probably okay. It's a low compression engine. It'll be alright, I think. I hope. I've been charging the battery last couple days. I recall putting a battery in it. I always say, yeah, I put a new battery in that, but I don't know, 6 years ago. It's probably not that new anymore, but when I put the charger on it, it was a 10 amp charger and it drew 10 amps for a while. These are 12 volt positive ground, by the way. I always forget that when I put the charger on it, and I'm reminded when my charger goes, click, click. And I go, oh yeah, let's change that. Positive ground. It's really hard to do when you work on negative ground your whole life. The issue is we're not using the car. We've sort of lost interest in it many years ago. I would sure like to have the shop space back. So unfortunately, and you know, with a lump in my throat, I guess I would say, we're going to have to put this one down the road. It's going to have to be sold. And I already have a potential buyer. I've been mentioning it to friends and family and stuff, and discussions have begun about its new ownership. So we need to get it fired up. I'm gonna put you in a stand here real quick. Hang on. It's been sitting just long enough. I think I'll pop the plugs out of it and just shoot just a little bit of oil down there. I believe it's gonna start right up without any issues. This car never let us down. We've taken it on many road, small road trips. I mean, just day trips. We did haul it from our spot here in Oregon to Sacramento, California. I was looking at some of our paperwork. That was back in, I think, 2009, so 11 years ago. We took it to the International Nash Metropolitan meet in Sacramento, and we spent a really fun, really hot weekend with some organized tours. We put, I think, 55 Nash Metropolitans on the steps of the Capitol, and we got a guided tour of the state capitol and so forth. So the Metropolitan was, made the local newspaper, and we got some great pictures. We've had a great time with the car. It's time to move it on. So with that, let's pop the hood, kind of assess things real quick. These are pretty easy. I see that. There it is. For those of you that are not familiar with this car, or this model of car, these were designed by Nash in the U.S. They were built by Austin in England. So they have the early ones had a 1200 or 1300 cc, 4-cylinder engine. They were a little anemic, a little underpowered. I can't remember what year they switched. I believe they built these from approximately 63, maybe 62. 61, somewhere in there. I'll call it 1962, give or take a couple years. I'll be in the ballpark there. No, this is 57. It's 51 or 52, somewhere in there. And this being a 57. And I think they built them up until 61, 62. I think I heard the rumor that in 62 they made a few out of what the leftover parts they had, and that was that. This engine runs, when it has run really good. It's really strong. They got probably has a new clutch in it. It's a little grabby. I know my wife doesn't drive a stick shift normally, and she was getting rubber when she left a stop sign or two. If you get a little aggressive with the clutch, it just goes. It appears to be a very small, tiny car when you look at pictures and so forth. The reality is it looks smaller than it is, and inside it's actually very roomy. I mean, 5'8", 245 pounds. I got concerned when I went to get this car. I actually surprised my wife with it. I bought this for my wife, and that I wouldn't even fit in the car. Well, reality is it's got a ton of room in it. It's got a great big old steering wheel, big old horns. It drives like a great big car. It looks like a tiny car, but the reality is it's kind of in the middle. It's not much shorter than like our 64.5 Mustang, which y'all have never seen. So it is a really cool car. At the car shows, we've taken it to many. This car is far from perfect. It's had a paint job. It's had interior. It's not a show car. However, it's never left a show that we've taken it to without an award. So it's just too cute. So let me pull the plugs real quick and just shoot a little oil down there. I've checked the coolant level. This car is never overheated. It's got plenty of coolant in it. This car actually has a temperature gauge, a real temperature gauge. The oil is probably should be changed, but man, it's just slightly over full. I checked the fuel mileage on this car once. It got 42 miles to the gallon. That is no joke. It was a situation where the gas gauge doesn't work on this car, and we filled it up. Well, it was full before we left, and I filled it up when we got back, and 42 miles to the gallon. That's crazy. All right, I'm pulling all 4 wires, but I'm laying them right where they need to go. I put radiator hoses, heater hoses. I think I did a water pump, fan belt. We flushed the fluids and did all that stuff when we got the car. Probably should be done again, but that was excellent. Didn't ever leak anything. It was good. All right, let me pull the plugs real quick. All right, I broke them loose so we can get them out of here. Wow, look at those. That plug is 12, 13 years old. It's not like we drive a ton of miles, but certainly driven it. Number 1 plug's very nice. These are cast iron engines. Block-end head. Second plug looks great. Keeping these in order, but little city on number 3. Number 4 looks good. Overall, really good. Okay, let's get an oil can. Oil can. They're down there. Three squirts. 3 squirts will do you. All right. Let's see if it'll turn over. Just gonna crank it a little, move that oil around. Room for me to get in this thing. Make some room, make some room. I gotta remember how to do any of this stuff in this car. Get in. I cranked it till the oil light went off. Man, need to clean this shop. It's getting real dirty. All right, let's stick the plugs back in. Okay, they're hand tight. Tighten them up. And put the plug wires back on. I see I made a nice set of Excel plug wires for this back in the day. You probably don't see that every day on a Met. Alright, these things have a mechanical fuel pump and get a light for you. Hang on, let me get a light that works. So you see the fuel pump right there, and then you see that little rod with an eye on it, a hook on it. It has a manual operator, so you can either use that little eye or just reach down a little further, and there's a lever sticking out. And you can pump the fuel up without cranking the motor over. And it works pretty good. I hope it still works anyway. I don't know if I got gas up there or not, but not like you can hear it or smell it. Let's crank it for a bit and see what happens. If nothing occurs, then I'll pump it more. There is a manual choke on this too, as I recall. Crank's good, sounds good. Just gotta get some gas up there. Let's see how we can pump on this pump some more. I think I smell gas now. Let's try this again. I think success is near. Half choke. Well, surprised a little bit. That it didn't just run, but it's not far from it. Let's see about getting the air cleaner off of this thing. At least moved over. Ouch. It wants to go. I was trying the choke in all kinds of different positions. It's an oil bath. Gonna try some starting fluid. Maybe we can convince some other spark plugs to fire. Drink that. Very odd indeed. Well, let me fiddle for a minute. You ever sabotage yourself? Yep, I crossed 3 and 4 plug wire. I bet it runs now. Man. The car wants to run, it's me that doesn't want it to run. Yeah. Look at that little sweetheart. So awesome. This thing has always been such a sweet little car. All I wanted to do was run, and I couldn't keep my plug wires straight. So I'm gonna let it sit here and just warm up for a little bit before I shut her down. I know the gas is cold, but we'll run it through. It'll be fine. I mentioned to you some of the things I did under the hood. I think I also put a new exhaust system on it. Redid front wheel bearings. I think I had the, I could be wrong, but I think it still had an exhaust leak at the cast iron exhaust manifold, and I think I had that machine because I had another rig or two that I had done at the same time. So I was thinking it was this one. We put wide white walls on it. I know the tires are half flat. Had the wheels powder coated. I wasn't happy with the wide white wall tires, so I put porta walls over top. I think they'll clean up fine and straighten out once we get some air in the tires. The car's pretty straight. It's not perfect, but it's pretty straight. Obviously it runs good. I have the other wiper that's back here somewhere. Everything works on the car except the gas gauge. The gas gauge is stuck on full, which usually means the wire's grounded out somewhere between there and the tank, which is why we fill it up every time we drive it. A little hard for me to get in, but once I'm in, it's great. It's been running a while, 180 degrees, maybe 175, 180. There you go. That's a factory gauge in the right location. I'm not sure what's up with the radio. We had a radio custom made. You can see the cord there on the floor. It was tapped for an MP3 player. And it worked good. When we were in Sacramento, I had an MP3 player with an FM radio deal. We were listening to local FM radio stations, but I'm not hearing it right now. I'm not sure what's up. It's a tube type. That's unfortunate. I do have the original radio that was in this. It didn't work either. How these things work, I'm going to show you just for reference. The headlight switch, for example, is around the key switch, and I had a heck of a time. I brought this back from Portland, Oregon. I drove it when I bought it, and it was getting dark. I couldn't figure out how to get the headlights on. There's not many switches in this thing. You would think I could figure it out. No, I could not figure it out, and I was calling the owner on the road saying, I'm going to have to pull over here pretty soon because I can't get a headlight on. So he walked me through that. Cigarette lighter, can't remember if it works or not. I don't think so. I don't know if the port works or the lighter works or what. This is the starter. It pulls out on a cable. Pulls out. B, I'm not sure that's the right knob. It's not an electric solenoid, it's manual. Turn signals are here. I hear it. I thought that was the indicator there. I see them working. Might be that indicator light. This is wipers. This is heater. This is choke. That's the layout. Lights on. High beam. Good question. I don't remember. High beam, is it on this? Oop, I shut the car off. Fire's right back up. Interrupted by a phone call. So this still has its original visors in it. Original headliners, got some rust staining in the where the bows go through. But it is original, there's no holes or anything in it. She's nice and tight. It's had an interior put in it at some point. It's not original, but it's decent. It's decent. It doesn't totally match stuff, so whatever. I put new carpet in it, carpet mats. I painted the floor when I did that. The floor was in really good shape, just a little surface rust, so pour 15 on the surface rust, and new carpet. Kind of a high-end carpet, so that's pretty good. It's kind of crammed in back here, but I know I put new taillight lenses in it, new tire cover, switched things around. We did tires, had the spare wheel powder coated, painted the little center for the license plate light. I believe it works. Again, all new exhaust, even chrome tip. Has the bumperettes on the bumper. All the trim is intact. All the glass is good. She's dirty, no doubt dirty, but what a neat little car. We'll be sad to see it go, but we really enjoyed the car while we were using it. But there's no sense it just sitting here. Should get out, get washed, get polished, get driven, be enjoyed, etc. All right, gang. Appreciate you coming along for the let's get the Metropolitan started. It would have been a shorter video had I not screwed up number 3 and 4 spark plug wire. Car wanted to fire up better than I did, I guess. Oh, one quick thing. If you can see through the windshield all the way to the back seat, you can see there's a lock on the back seat. That's the only entrance to the trunk. There's no outside. The trunk doesn't open from the outside. There is no separate body panel. They were just accessible through the back seat, and they are a pain in the butt. If you're going grocery shopping in this, you can set bags in the back seat, okay? They'll put stuff in the trunk. In fact, I have the jack handle and jack and stuff out of it because I was going to sew up a bag with a strap on it so you could open that up, grab the strap, and get it out should you ever really need it. So you really didn't have to crawl in there. My wife tried to sit in the back seat of this thing one day, and it was quite an effort to get her out of there. It would be a tragedy if I had to get in the back seat because it's not going to work. Anyway, if you had a couple little tiny kids, they'd go for a joyride in there, but it's pretty much a 2-person car, and it's cute as a bug. Guys, driving Miss Daisy. She runs again. I'm going to be concerned about the brakes. I don't think it should be driven till those get looked at. But I got some work to do to get it out of where it's stored here. So I got a bunch of stuff to move. I can hopefully get it rolled out of here and get it washed and get it ready for a new home. Thanks again, gang. Hit the thumbs up button on the way out the door, please. I appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next video.